Hello, I am Mia Katigbak, class of 1976, and I am a very joyful recipient of the Distinguished Alumna Award this year. Rather than lament the virtual nature of this gathering, I would like instead to dwell on the real, positive aspects of the state of our lives, or at least the state of my life during this extraordinary year. Contemplation has become a habit, one that I hope to keep. The notification of this award led me to think on Barnard, and I realized how my years here have contributed significantly to my life's work in ways I had not fully integrated into my consciousness until now. I am an actor manager, a co-founder of the 32-year-old NATCO, National Asian American Theater Company. For this endeavor, I have had to use theatrical craftsmanship and skill, sociopolitical awareness, attentiveness to personal and disciplinary interactions, and a compilation of education and experience. I can trace the foundations of these integral aspects to Barnard. There was no theater major when I was ready to declare mine in 1974. There was the newly founded program in the arts, and I had a concentration in theater. We were expected to be well-rounded artists, so the mandate was to fulfill dance, music, visual arts requirements, in addition to the core theater courses that were offered then. For our senior seminar, we examined the Surrealists under the guidance of Professor Joseph Mashek of the Art History Department. For my final project, I selected a scene from Alfred Jarry's play Ubu, and at the beginning of the class, when the presentation was supposed to happen, I asked some of my classmates to stage it with me. I selected dancers, musicians, and actors, and after a 10-minute huddle at the top of the class, we made a presentation. The play was on the reading list, and I counted on the pickup company to have read it. I asked each of the participants to interpret the scene in their particular disciplines with an eye to everyone involved towards making a coherent presentation. It was completely improvised. Although the practice had existed for centuries, the term devising wouldn't be popularized until the mid-1980s, if not later. And here we were devising before the terminology was a regular part of our practice. For my senior thesis, I put together 4 mother-daughter scenes from plays across the Western classical canon. During the transitions, excerpts from a song cycle, Frauenliebe und Leben, were sung. Schumann was the thread that connected Sophocles, Shakespeare, Tennessee Williams, and Neil Simon. And I hadn't yet experienced Pina Bausch or another Barnard alum, Twyla Tharp, who worked with similar mashups in their creations. There was clearly something in the Barnard water that was forming the bedrock of my creative life. There were also socio-cultural elements that, while not positive, were crucial to my development as a theater maker. I started out as a music major and I wanted to be a conductor. I was told by my advisor that I should likely give up my dream because it would be difficult enough as a woman, but as an Asian American woman, my chances were slim to none. No one knew what to do with me in the theater department because I insisted on doing work in the Western canon, despite being gently, consistently reminded that there were no Asians in those plays. The accumulation of these experiences has directed me towards my life's work. I have dedicated myself to more adequate, enlightened, responsible, imaginative, and assertive representations of Asian Americans in the theater. The fruits of my labor had a very long gestation period, but it is because I consider myself well-equipped that I now find myself, at this most demanding juncture of my life, as an artist and as an Asian American, able to respond in a productive way, in a way that I believe contributes to the future well-being of this country. In response to the isolation of the past year, to the killing of George Floyd, to the assaults on Asian Americans, particularly older ones, I have turned to the creation of new theatrical work by my theater company. We have commissioned 5 Asian American playwrights, all women, to write half-hour monologues for characters 60 years and older that respond to this current moment. We are developing a new play about colonialism by Deepa Purohit, directed by Aya Ogawa, both Asian American women. Our whole creative team and technical team, except for one person, are women. We'd like American theater to look more like the world we live in today. Because if we cannot recognize the beautiful and invigorating chromaticism of real life and let the multiplicity of cultures, skin tones, and physiognomies be the basic, the norm of the worlds we present on stage, if we cannot even imagine on stage what is already real, how do we imagine the truly fantastic? I often quote John F. Kennedy and do so again here. The life of the arts, far from being an interruption, a distraction in the life of the nation, is close to the center of a nation's purpose and is a test of the quality of a nation's civilization. My experience at Barnard has enabled me to continue the challenging work of enhancing and improving the quality of our nation's civilization. Thank you very much for this honor.